So hello everyone. It's my great pleasure to introduce Jialong Wu. Jialong is a fourth-year PhD student at Tsinghua University, advised by Professor Mingsheng Long. He completed his undergrad at Tsinghua as well and earned a software engineering degree along with pure and applied mathematics. His research focuses on developing fundamental techniques for general autonomous intelligence with an emphasis on world models. He has broad interest in scalable reasoning and planning with learned priors. I came across him from a Twitter post, I believe, on a talk he gave at Google DeepMind, where he was talking about multimodal world models, which I felt is a topic that many of us at MERL are also very excited about. So without further ado, let's move on to Jialong's talk. Jialong, please take it away.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the invitation from Anup. It is my great pleasure to present this talk titled World Models and Human-like Reasoning, covering background and the key insights of our latest paper. So I believe Anup has already given a fantastic introduction of myself. So I will skip this slide. Our latest paper titled Visual Generation Unlocks Human-like Reasoning through Multimodal World Models. For me, is a perspective paper answering two questions. The first one is what is multimodal world models and why do we need it? And the second one is when and how does visual generation benefit reasoning? As we will see, these two questions are closely related in this paper, just like the two sides of the same coin. Let's start by talking about world models. World models is hot. We have seen many AI applications talking about world models. The most familiar ones include content creation, autonomous driving, robotics, and game. Besides, other fields more and more involve world models. We have seen code world models, compiler world models, web world models, and we also have world models in natural science, such as weather prediction, biology, and clinical medicine. This meme clearly shows the interdisciplinary nature of world models. Yeah, we have many definitions of world models. So who is the real world model, or what is exactly a world model? Let's back to its origin. In my opinion, the concept of world models for AI is rooted from the mental models in the literature of psychology and cognitive science. Denise Craig first introduced the concept of humans' internal model of the external world and its application for reasoning and planning. He said, well, by using world models, we are able to try out various alternative actions and conclude which is the best of them and take it. J. Wright Forrester further clarifies the abstract representations of such models. He said the image of world around us, which we carry in our head, is just a model. They have only selected concepts and relationships between them. For example, if in our daily life, if you see a glass of water spilled on the table, in your mind, you can mentally simulate the future. The water will spread across the table and potentially drip onto the floor. By mentally evaluating such unacceptable outcome, you make decision about your real actions. You can quickly move a valuable item away or reach for a towel to address the water. So back to AI. These concepts are exactly what we talk about system 1 and system 2. For system 1, an agent acts as a quick reflex without using world models or cost evaluations. does a function predicting how the world translates under the interventions of agents action. It inputs state and actions and predict the distribution of the next states. System 2 agent thus can act through an optimization procedure, running world models to simulate the outcome of different actions and evaluate different outcomes, and finally select the best evaluated one. All sounds reasonably. However, there is a significant disagreement in the community on what to predict. In other words, how do we represent the states? How do we represent the state of the world? A popular approach is with generative models predicting raw pixels. However, LeQuinn have a different idea. He thinks generating pixels is wasteful, and we should use abstract repetitions that only focuses on task relevant information. This is the same opinion with Forster about human cognition. Remember, he said that all is a model. We only have selective concepts and their relationships. However, how can we learn such abstract latent repetitions at scale? We currently have no good ideas. We all know that LeQuinn is working about JPA, but I think JPA is still underdeveloped. Our opinion is that visuals and languages can approximate complementary levels of abstraction. This leads to our answers to the first question: what is multimodal world models, and why do we need it? While world models are more commonly about physical decision making, such as in the field of the robotics, in this paper, we're more focusing on its connection to reasoning. Large language models have broad word knowledge and can well serve as verbal word models. By saying verbal word models, we mean that languages serve as the abstract repetition of the word states. You can use language to describe the current state of the world. For example, you can describe the coordinate of abstract, and you can describe the status of the thing. Early work performs planning with such verbal word models using optimization algorithms like tree search, like maybe DFS, BFS, or MCTS. In the reasoning model era, word modeling becomes an inherent capability rather than a separate model. During COT reasoning, LLMs and VLMs can explore, reflect, and backtrack within the structured solution space, guided by its internal word model, guided by its internal word knowledge. We have seen such verbal word modeling capabilities in many domains, such as mathematical reasoning, puzzle solving, and activity planning, and even code generation. In the last year, Meta released a so-called code word models. You can use LLM to simulate the outcome of a Python program. So you do not need to really run the program, just like how you simulated the outcome of program in your brain when you're coding your own program. Such reasoning capabilities have achieved the expert performance in formal and abstract domains. dominated by verbal word knowledge, such as mathematical and code generation. In contrast, advanced models still fall short of human performance on tasks involving physical and spatial reasoning. These tasks can be easily solved by young children or by babies, but it's surprisingly very hard for data multimodal models such as Gemini and ChatGPT. So what is missing here? That's back to human cognition again. The coding theory of human cognition suggests that human mind processes information along two different channels, verbal and non-verbal. For example, in our daily life, we can numerically calculate the trajectories of a basketball, but we hardly do this. We prefer visually, but approximately imagine the trajectory of the basketball. So our opinion is that current COTs using verbal reasoning as primary information processing pathway, but it lacks complementary visual pathways. Then, recent advances on unified multimodal models, or UMMs, seamlessly integrate both verbal and visual generation capabilities. So we believe that it opens a new paradigm of interleaved verbal visual reasoning. However, the benefits of UMMs and interleaved reasoning are still unclear in the community. Previous research have explored this question from different perspectives. However, the reported empirical results are mixed, showing no consistent trends that visual generation reliably and significantly improves reasoning performance. Moreover, the evaluation tasks are designed heuristically, lacking a principled understanding. This leads to our second question. When and how does visual generation enabled by UMMs benefit reasoning? Finally, we arrived at our paper. Our paper makes several contributions. Conceptually, we formalize atomic capabilities of word models and word model-based chain of thought reasoning. Through analyzing distinctions among different forms of word models from both informativeness and knowledge aspects, we propose our key position, named the visual superiority hypothesis. Empirically, we construct VisWorld-Eval, which is a task suite for evaluating interleaved visual verbal COT reasoning. We conduct controlled experiments of BAGEL, a state-of-art UMM, a state-of-art open source UMM on our VisWorld-Eval task suite, and the results are well explained and strongly support our proposed insights. Our formulation of word model extends the well-known POMDP, partial observable MDP, in the literature of IL. We extend this formulation into so-called multi-observable MDP, where the underlying word states can be observed through multiple modality with different focus. For example, different visual observations can correspond to different camera positions, and the same concept and the same states can be described in language or visually. These different observations are the projection of the same underlying word states. A word model approximates such MOMDP is then expected to support two fundamental capabilities similar to humans' mental models. The first one is called word reconstruction. Humans are good at mentally reconstructing the structure of the environment from only a few partial observations, allowing them to imagine novel views of the same environment. This capability can be approximated in UMMs or in visual generation in the form of novel view synthesis. So novel view synthesis. We think that if a model can do novel view synthesis perfectly, it has a internal word representation reconstructed from the partial observations internally. But currently, many models do not have a bottleneck of its internal representation. So we use the end-to-end behavior, namely novel view synthesis, to represent such capability. The second one is word simulation. Humans can mentally simulate how the world evolves into the future, supporting reasoning and decision making. Similarly, this capability can be approximated by future observation prediction through visual generation. We then formalize how word modeling capabilities contribute to multimodal reasoning. Tree of thought reasoning includes intermediate steps or thoughts, or called thoughts. We extend this formulation by explicitly maintaining an involving sequence of observations generated by atomic word model capabilities. So in each reasoning steps, we have logical reasoning, and we also have a imagined observation of the world, which can serve as the evidence of the next step of the reasoning. So this formulation can be realized through observations in different modalities, or it can be realized through so-called multimodal world models. The model can just produce different observations in different modalities. Reasoning with verbal word modeling generates purely verbal COTs, with observations as verbal description of the states of the states. Reasoning with visual word modeling generates interleaved verbal visual COTs with observations as images. We also consider the third form. We also consider reasoning with implicit word modeling, with no explicit observations generated in the COTs. We believe there may be they perhaps have some internal representation of the word state inside the model, the model's representations during its reasoning. We then analyze distinctions among different forms of word modeling from both informativeness and knowledge aspects. In terms of informativeness, while verbal and symbolic representations capture high-level semantic abstractions, they often suffer from ambiguity and representational bottlenecks. In contrast, visual observations are more concrete and information rich. Visual observations can directly encode physical properties such as motion and spatial relationships. In terms of prior knowledge, the complementary nature of different modalities makes human naturally represent and communicate different knowledge through different modality. Knowledge like spatial and physical transformation are more commonly represented visually, and so these knowledges are more concentrated in visual data and should be learned through visual generative modeling. You can refer to our paper for rigorous analysis. But overall, this leads to our central position, the visual superiority hypothesis. The hypothesis claims that in multimodal reasoning tasks grounded in the physical world, visual generation as a world model can use representations that are more informative and knowledge-rich than those produced by verbal world models. To empirically validate our insights, we contrast VisWorld-Eval, a task suite for assessing multimodal reasoning with visual world modeling. It has 7 tasks spanning both synthetic and real-world domains, each designed to isolate and demand a specific autonomic world model capability. For each task, we contrast SRT data by designing different COT patterns with implicit verbal or visual world models. These data are then used to post-train state-of-the-art open source UMMs, BAGEL. This enabled controlled comparative evaluations. This figure presents our main results, presenting the performance of SFT trained UMMs with different world model-based COT information, world model-based COT formulation. We observe that interleaved COT with visual world modeling significantly outperforms its purely verbal counterparts on 3 simulation tasks: paper folding, multi-hop manipulation, and ball tracking. Similarly, multimodal reasoning tasks that rely on word reconstruction capabilities, such as cube 3-view projection and real-world spatial reasoning, also benefits significantly from visual world modeling. Our analysis and case study demonstrate better sample efficiency and world model fidelity for visual world modeling. For example, the spatial transformation involved in paper unfolding critically relies on a deep understanding of geometric symmetry, which can be more naturally learned from visual data like images and videos. In contrast, verbal world modeling fails to adapt to such tasks effectively, producing hallucinations of the unfolding steps during reasoning. Here we present some showcases of interleaved COTs generated by our models for real-world spatial reasoning to analyze the relative spatial positional relationship between between two objects in the same thing, our model can imagine novel views of the thing and try to put these two objects into the same view, so it can better think. So it can better say better say its position relationship, and it and the relationship between cameras and objects, and for the task of paper folding or paper unfolding, the COTs can simulate the unfolding procedure of the paper, and finally conclude about the distribution of holes on the final state of the paper, and in the cube three view projection task, we found that the SFT, the UMMs, are surprisingly effective in generating novel views of this cube stack. You can say this cube stack is kind of complex. It has a grid of 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. So the generated novel views is more correct than its verbal counterparts. By verbal counterparts, we use character magic. We use the symbol matrix to trying to represent this novel view. But how about these two tasks, maze and scuban? In these two tasks, visual world modeling is unhelpful. So this can be unsurprising. This can be unsurprising. But how to explain it? Actually, this can be well explained by our previous analysis. For this simple grid task, verbal state tracking alone is complete and sufficient. Moreover, discrete coordinate tracking are commonly adopted by human. Are also commonly adopted by human, and we believe there is already many data in the pre-training corpus. So the knowledge of discrete coordinate tracking can be learned through pre-training in language. There's another surprising finding for the simple maze task, reasoning with implicit word modeling, which means that we do not explicitly track coordinates in COTs. We just replace all coordinates in COTs with a mask token. We find this form of reasoning performs best. To better understanding this, we probe the model's internal repetitions of different layers. Specifically, a simple MLP is trained to predict masked coordinates during reasoning. We find that the pre-trained BAGEL already exhibits emergent word repetitions. These emergent word repetitions are predictive of the maze states. SFT on domain-specific data. Despite that, we do not provide explicit coordinate separation, which means that the model is trained to predict the mask necessary prediction but its internal word repetitions can still be enhanced to achieve near perfect accuracy of coordinate tracking. So as the model already possesses the capability for implicit word modeling, it does not necessarily benefit from explicit verbal word modeling, let alone more complex forms of visual word modeling. We also conduct other analysis. One may argue that UMMs are typically trained with a stronger emphasis on visual generation, which could compromise verbal reasoning capabilities. We compare with Quen 2.5 VL, a pure VLM baseline which shares the same LLM base with BAGEL. Quen VL with implicit and verbal word modeling still lags behind BAGEL with visual word modeling. Finally, our reinforcement learning experiments enhance various formulation of COTs, yet do not close the gap. UMMs with visual word modeling still performs significantly better. In summary, this work provides early evidence of the central role of multimodal world models, in which complementary verbal and visual knowledge should emerge from generative modeling across different modalities. This work also helps address long-standing questions about the mutual effects between generation and reasoning, or more commonly known as the mutual effects between multimodal understanding and generation. We argue that physical AI that thinks and acts in the physical world should equipped with multimodal world models, and specifically should be equipped with visual world models, and we are still on the way. That's all my reputation. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jialong, for the exciting talk. Are there questions? Maitreya?
Hi, yeah, thank you for the talk. So I was curious if you have looked at the evaluation of the model from the other direction. So like, can reasoning help in like novel view generation, for example? And then the second question is, have you looked at sort of unrelated generation? So like, does the novel view generation have to be like in the similar, like what if you want to generate, scenes that are unrelated to what you want to reason on? Like, does that still help the performance?
Sorry, can you repeat your question? Maybe one by one. Sorry.
Yeah, so I had two questions. The first one is, have you evaluated the model in the other direction? So like, have you evaluated the novel view generation accuracy, for example, or performance, given like, when you train for reasoning?
Okay. So the question is about evaluate the immediate visual generation performance during reasoning, right?
Yeah.
We do not have a systematic evaluation of the internal the intermediate steps, but I believe this is called this metric is called word model fidelity in our paper. We present the performance of on the cube 3 view projection task to evaluate the accuracy of the normal view of the cube stack. Just like showcased in the bottom line, we evaluated the accuracy of the intermediate generated view on the COTs, and our finding is that the fidelity is surprisingly good than our expectation, and the unnatural representation of such view. For example, in language or in symbolic metrics, these representations are quite bad, and there is many hallucinations and they are not accurate at all, and the reasoning is based on such incorrect intermediate reasoning step. For other tasks, we do not provide a systematic evaluation, because for the novel view synthesis task, for example, in this real world task, in this real world thing, the instruction is kind of not accurate. For example, the model can say to can self-generate the instruction, like we can rotate our camera left left a bit. So this instruction is vague, and we cannot and the result, it cannot be evaluated automatically. So our evaluation mainly focus on the final accuracy of the answer. We believe that better COT will result in better final accuracy of the answer.
I see.
Okay.
So, and then the second question that I had was, have you looked at like unrelated generation of unrelated scenes, for example, right? Like, does that help? Like maybe not at inference time, but while training or something like that. Like, does it help to generate, like, does the generation task itself help, or is it that you have to generate the same sequence or the same tasks that you are working on to get the benefit of the idea?
So your question is, will the model generate unrelated visual results during the reasoning?
Yeah, I mean, does that help? Like, you could potentially generate things that are also not relevant, right? Does that? Yeah.
Okay. So we do not control that we do not. I think this depends on the strategy of data pipeline. In simple tasks, for example, paper folding and this cube view projection, we contrast COTs using template. So the model trained with this. So the model trained with this templated COT data can they are trained to only produce the one kind of pattern of the reasoning. Just like for the paper folding task, the model is trained to unfolding step by step. So during this reasoning, no unrated generation will be conducted. Yeah, it depends on the SFT data patterns. But for the real world spatial reasoning task, we generate the SFT data differently. We use a model able to visual COTs. We use a model. We use a model with tool use. Using another novel view synthesis expert model to as a tool to generate the SFT data. Then we use this SFT data to train and to SFT and UMMs. So for this task, the behavior of SFT data are more diverse. The model can explore can freely explore the thing by imagining by imagining novel views, and it depends on the behavior pattern of the agent producing the SFT data. So for this task, we can say that the model can generate incorrect camera motions to maybe this is unrated or not informative for the final answer, but the model produced this unnecessary movement, and it can realize this movement is unrelated and try an opposite direction. For example, he will first rotate right and find there's no target object, and he will try again to rotate to the left.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, interesting idea. Yeah.
Any other question? So maybe I can ask a question. What is the typical pipeline for training this kind of a model look like?
Okay. So the training pipeline is quite simple. It is just we first of all we use SFT. SFT is just like the strategy of pre-training. The only difference is the data set. We first generate a SFT data set with interleaved text and image during reasoning, and we train the model to generate a text by next token prediction. By next token prediction, use cross entropy loss, and we use diffusion loss to train the model to generate a visual generation results. This is quite simple. This is the same as the training of BAGEL of BAGEL pre-training and many UMMs. And we also have a reinforcement learning stage. For reinforcement learning, we generally use a GRPO algorithm. We verify the accuracy of final answer to produce the rewards and advantages, and then we use GRPOs to optimize the verbal generation part of the model. So we use GRPO to optimize the language COT part, and for the visual COT part, we do not apply IO on it because because when we do this work, IO for diffusion model are not well developed for me. So we just use a KL regularization to constrain the model will not move far away from the SRT model. So we are currently ongoing a work about the IO of such interleaved visual verbal COTs.
Okay, and how generalizable is this? Because it seems like you need to have a lot of visual data side by side to the verbal data. So how can you scale this up to AGI sort of a thing?
Yes. This is a limitation. This is a critical limitation of such interleaved COT paradigm. For our task, we evaluate the post-trained. We evaluate the post-trained models on task-specific performance. So for this work, we evaluated the upper bound of this new paradigm. But for AGI, we think we think there is indeed a lack of sufficient or natural data in the internet on the for this interleaved visual verbal generation. I think one data source is that we can repurpose previous visual COT data produced by agent with Tor use. We can repurpose this data into this interleaved generation data. For example, there is currently existing visual COT paradigm using tools like pointing or like crop the image. So I think this data generated by functions can be repurposed into visual generations. But this data is not enough because the pattern is too narrow. I think the most promising part is that we can prompt a agent to use a image generation model to during reasoning. Maybe we can use Gemini and equip it with a generation models like NanoBanana to generate interleaved vision, interleaved reasoning. Anyway, all this is about post training. We still need to address the lack of data during pre-training because yeah. This is my point.
Okay, yeah, sounds great.